come, they will register, but poverty, socioeconomic status is one big factor in preventing our people from registering for antenatal care.
So how does the maternal health affect the health of the child in the long run?
Oh, it does affect the child greatly. Number one, you need a stable mother, a healthy mother to take care of a child. In fact, the mother is more important to us as gynecologists, because if the mother is not there, that child will not have a good quality of life. You need a healthy mother to breastfeed the child. You know how important breastfeeding is to the developmental well-being of the child. You need a woman to be fine throughout pregnancy to deliver a child, not have any problem. You know, all the late presentation in labor, complications, obstructed labor and all, by the time they deliver those babies, they will be asphyxiated, and you now see them coming down with cerebral palsy later in life. That child's quality of life have been greatly reduced just because pregnancy was badly managed. So it does affect a child a great. They are always falling sick. They'll be bringing them in and out of the hospital. So the mother is important for that child to also have an healthy life.
You have mentioned religion as one of those things that affect maternal mortality and health. But let's also look at culture.
Yes.
Does it play any role in any way?
It does play a big role. Culture play a big role. Now we have some cultural practices, though they are not that common, especially in the elite community like before. Let's talk about female genital mutilation. It's a cultural practice that brings untoward outcome when you are pregnant. Some women have had pregnant. Some women have had their genitals cut so badly that a child cannot pass through that place. They will have to go through cesarean section. So that is one cultural practice. There are cultural practices that they will prevent women from eating certain food, even though it's healthy for them. They say, I don't eat snails, don't eat this. And you know, those are great sources of protein for a pregnant woman. But because of culture, they will not allow them to. There are some cultural practices that say, to our Yoruba speaking audience, Oluyole kì í jáde lórun, Oluyole kì í jáde. So they are always covered in the house. They are, because of that, they end up having vitamin D deficiency. Is a cultural practice, and it affects. So culture plays a role. Now you now go to the northern part of the country. They have different cultures too that prevent their women from seeking the right thing. There are some cultures that they'll say, we don't get vaccines in our family. They don't vaccinate us. We don't get vaccines in our family. They don't vaccinate us. We will be that in our family. So, and you know, pregnant women should take tetanus vaccine when they are pregnant, hepatitis B vaccine when they are pregnant. The culture prevents women from doing all those. We don't take injections in our family. So all of this come to play different roles. Then this cultural practice, which is so common, of massaging women's abdomen with hot water. A woman that just had CS done, you are putting hot water on that wound eventually gets broken down. They return the woman to the hospital. She's more sick. It's a burden on the family. Cost of treatment is increased, which generally will affect the economy of the country as well. So all of these things, they come to play. So culture has a big role to play in the health-seeking behavior of our women.
Okay, that last point you made rather massaging
with water. Yes,
with hot water for cesarean section. Does that mean that it's okay for a person who had
it's not okay. It's not okay for anybody
because it's a traditional thing.
I mentioned it because I know it's deeply ingrained in us. It's not okay for anybody.
I think it's as a way to, like, help with the water retention and to help
okay. So that is the belief. But what I always explain to patients in the hospital is that there's no amount of heat you want to apply on the outside that will get to where your uterus is, because of the layers of skin, the fascia, the muscle. That is how God has created it. Those layers are so thick. If there is any amount of water you want to apply on the outside that will enter that uterus, you have to burn through the whole place. Do you understand? And now I used to ask patients this question. The Caucasians mostly, they don't do this. Of course, we watch their movies, they don't do this. If you compare the tummies of our old women in Nigeria to the tummies of older women in America, for example, now, which one is flatter?
As
That's not true. They have flatter tummies than us.
I think it's because they engage in a lot of exercise.
Yes, because those things you see, they are fats. They are postpartum fats,
right,
which you need postpartum exercise, which is allowed to burn them. Uterus will definitely go back to its normal size. That is how God has created. And one factor that hastens that is when you breastfeed. You will see mothers that deliver in the hospital, they will be complaining, doctor, as I'm breastfeeding my baby, my tummy is turning. It is because as they are breastfeeding, oxytocin is being released from their brain, which help their uterus to contract. So naturally, uterus will contract and go back to its normal size if there is no problem. And problem in the sense that if there is no retained placenta tissue, if there is no atoning, no bleeding, so it will naturally go back to its normal size. So the remaining thing we are seeing there are just fats, which needs exercise for it to be burnt, not heat. There's no amount of heat you want to apply on the outside that will get there. And all this pepper soup thing that we eat, that we think it will flush the blood. There's nothing that is being flushed. The gastrointestinal tract is different entirely from where the uterus is. They are not connected in any way. So that's the explanation.
So you mentioned breastfeeding as a way to
an important way. In fact, the most important way.
So what other ways are there? You mentioned exercise. What exercises are safe for,
a postpartum woman?
Yes.
Something like 30 minutes walking daily. It helps. All the normal exercise you could do as someone that's not even giving birth, a woman that just gave birth, you can do it, but you have to do it then in moderation. Your body is just healing, it's just coming back to shape, so you don't have to be so hard on yourself. But walking helps. Little exercises, if you visit the gym, I think gym instructors, they know about those ones very well. For postpartum mothers, they are exercise recognized.
All right, so still talking about maternal mortality. Does the age of the mother affect this in any way, or is it a factor?
Okay, so the age of the mother is a factor in the sense that it affects the causes of maternal mortality. Now, the commonest causes of maternal mortality, previously it used to be number one, postpartum hemorrhage, but nowadays hypertensive disorders of pregnancy is leading. We are seeing that is on the increase. So bleeding in pregnancy, postpartum hemorrhage especially, hypertensive disorders in pregnancy, preeclampsia, eclampsia syndrome, obstructed labor, those are leading causes of maternal mortality. Abortion and its complications, those are leading causes. Then sepsis, puerperal sepsis too, it's also a cause.
What's that?
Puerperal sepsis means when a woman has fever, abnormal discharge within 24 hours till 42 days after delivery. So we call that puerperal sepsis, and it has different causes. It may be because there's a tissue retained in the uterus after delivery that was not fully expelled. So that's the cause. So for all these causes, age also is a factor. Now, hypertensive disorders of pregnancy is commoner in first-time mothers, first-timers, women that are getting pregnant for the first time, women that are of extreme age. So if you are getting pregnant as a too young woman or a too old woman, you are at risk of that hypertensive disorder of pregnancy. So women getting pregnant less than 18 or women getting pregnant after 35, they are at most risk. And it is now more common. Of course, it's logical. Our women get pregnant later now because of education. They want to run businesses and all. So by the time women are getting pregnant for the first time, they're like in their 30s, close to their 40s. So they have this condition where a woman's BP will go up. she may have blurring of vision, and the next thing she convulses.
Is there a medical explanation for that?
Yes.
Developing.
Yes, the disease is called preeclampsia.
Right.
And the extreme of that disease is called eclampsia. Eclampsia is when the woman has convulsed, and that one is an obstetric emergency. That baby must come out. For the preeclampsia, the medical explanation for it is that for some reason, when the placenta is formed, it is not fully attached to the mother, so there's some degree of abnormality in the placenta. So it's a problem of the placenta. So the way we treat the condition is that that baby must come out, that placenta has to come out, irrespective of the age of that pregnancy. So even if the pregnancy is not old enough to be born, we still have to deliver, because if we don't, it will get worse to the level of eclampsia, and the woman will convulse and die if nothing is done. So it's a recognized obstetric condition, preeclampsia, eclampsia. So common, waste fetus, waste mothers, because you know the placenta is what supplies food to the baby. So if something is wrong with the placenta, the baby dies fast. That's when you see women come to us in the hospital, their baby is dead already in their womb, and we have to just bring that baby out, because if we don't, it will also affect the mother. The woman will eventually convulse. So that condition is highly on the increase now, and it's because of the factor that I've explained. Extreme of ages is commoner in younger women, very young women, and older women. And if you are a first timer, like you are getting pregnant for the first time, you are at risk. People that smoke, they are at risk. People that have twin pregnancy, like 2 babies, they are at risk. People that have diabetes in their pregnancy, they are at risk. So such factors contribute to that condition.
All right, you said that you may have that condition, or a person can develop that condition when she's either too early, too young, or too old, or a bit advanced in age. So what age range do you think is ideal to get married? Not just you think, medically.
Okay, so what the book says is between age 18 to 25. That's the optimal reproductive age for women, 18 to 25. So that's when we believe that all your organs are well formed, you are in the best shape to carry a baby. So anything, so and the thing about a female's reproductive life is that it declines. We reach a peak, then things start coming down. So 18 to 25 is the optimal age, but after 35 everything starts coming down. So that's when women are now at risk of everything: diabetes in pregnancy, hypertension in pregnancy, all those things, because the age is on the increase and the reproductive lifespan is declining. So optimal age 18 to 25.
I thought, still talking about preeclampsia, sorry about that, Florence. I'd like to know the ideal rate. We talk about the blood pressure.
Yes, blood
pressure. All right,
pressure.
so what should it be normally for a pregnant woman, and when do we know that there's a problem?
All right, so hypertension is when the BP is greater than or equal to 140/90 millimeters of mercury. That is hypertension. So when you ask people that, are you hypertensive, and they say, God forbid, okay, what's your value? Hey, it's 140/95 there. Once you have 140/90 or anything above that, that's hypertension. So the same thing is for pregnant women, and we always try to maintain their BP to at least to be 130/85, around that. We don't want it more than that. We don't always want, for pregnant women, 130/85. We don't want it to go beyond that. But hypertension generally is 140/90, anything equal or greater to that.
All right. So our fallopian tube is fully developed at age 25, right?
Even before that.
Before that,
yes. Why do you ask about fallopian tube? Why are you particular about fallopian tube?
Because it's just been everywhere that it's better from like age 25. Like that's when you are fully ready.
No.
But it was going to lead me to the question of spacing, like spacing your children. If you have between the age of 18 to 25, and for people that start 25, let's say you start 25, and you have till maybe 30,
which is still fine.
Yes. But then how is spacing going to be like for you if you want to have more than 2 children? Because young women these days, they are trying to like give birth and snatch back and
yes.
Have it back. So is spacing going to be a problem? Like maybe you give birth this year, you're trying to have another one the next year, and like that.
Okay, so the question she asked was, what's the optimal age for reproduction for a woman? And it is recognized even in the books, 18 to 25. That's when it's optimal to start your reproductive career. Now you are talking about spacing. What we encourage is that the inter-pregnancy interval should be 18 months at least. That is from the end of your last pregnancy till the beginning of the next one should be at least 18 months.
Okay.
That's an optimal spacing, because at that time we expect that everything in your body would have come back to shape. Those nutrients you have lost nursing that baby, you have recovered them back and your body is ready to give birth. So if a woman starts the reproductive life by 25, that's still fine. What I mentioned is that from 35 things starts declining. The optimal age 18 to 25. So anything between that 18 to 25 to the 35 is still fine.
All right, the program is still Breakfast Fiesta on Oluyole 98.5 FM Ibadan. This morning we're talking maternal health. We'll be taking a break to bring you to pay some bills, and then the news will be coming up at 11. News, then Iwi, and we'll be back to conclude the topic maternal health today on Breakfast Fiesta Oluyole 98.5 FM. Do stay with us.
There is a new recipe to delicious tasty meals.
Really?
Oh yes, it's Tasty Cubes chicken flavor. Give every meal that finger-licking taste.
Oh yeah?
Yes, so Tasty Cubes chicken flavor brings out a
ensuring that you begin your day on a bright and productive note, bringing you an array of topics from different spheres of life, informative, entertaining, with all the spice to make your day just right. Breakfast Fiesta, we bring your day alive. It's the Fiesta. 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 Chit chat and inspiration for the morning. Regular heads up on global observances. Thorough and insightful analysis from experts and professionals. You don't have to look any further, cause Breakfast Fiesta serves you all you need. We make your day come alive.
You're about to listen to the hottest sound. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 98.5 FM. Ibadan. You're listening to the urban frequency. Listen all you want. It's always free. Thanks for showing us the way to better radio.
Here we go.
Oluyole
98.5 FM.
Oluyole FM 98.5.
11 o'clock.
The news.
Good morning, the news on the hour. Let's begin with reports that pressure is mounting on the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amopiton, following fresh allegation linking him to a controversial social media account. The development has sparked renewed calls for his resignation, with critics questioning the neutrality of the electoral body ahead of future elections. The controversy followed an investigation which examined activities tied to an ex-former Twitter account accused of posting partisan content during the 2023 general elections. The findings have since drawn reaction from political parties, civil society groups, and concerned Nigerians, many of whom say the credibility of INEC is at stake. Meanwhile, the National Association of Nigerian Students, NAN Zone E Stakeholders Forum, has condemned a recent airstrike by the Nigerian Air Force that reportedly hit a busy market along the Oluyole border, killing scores of civilians. In a statement, the student body described the incident as tragic, avoidable, and unprofessional, alleging that the strike mistakenly hit Julie Market, a crowded weekly trading hub, instead of its intended insurgent target. The statement, signed by its secretary, Zachary Hashim, which criticized what it called failure in intelligence gathering, target identification, and operational execution, noting that civilians continue to bear the brunt of such errors. It warned that repeated incidents of this nature raise serious concerns about the safety of residents in conflict-affected communities. While acknowledging the effort of the armed forces in combating insurgency, NAN stressed that the protection of civilians must remain a top priority in all military operations. The group called on the federal government, defense headquarters, and Nigerian Air Force to launch an independent investigation to ensure compensation for victims and implement stronger safeguards to prevent future occurrences. Thank you for listening. That ends the news on the hour.
ẹ̀ka àárọ̀ ìròyìn yálẹ̀ta awuyewuye mìíràn ló tún ti ṣúyọ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ alága àjọ elétò ìdìbò nílẹ̀ wa INEC ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Joash Amopiton nítorí ẹ̀sùn mìíràn tí wọ́n fi kàn án èyí tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú pé ó ní ojú òpó ìbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ òde òní tí kò tọ̀nà. ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí ló tún ti mú kí àwọn èèyàn máa ké gbàjarè pé kó kọ̀wé fi ipò náà sílẹ̀ pẹ̀lú bí àwọn èèyàn ṣe ń kọ̀ ní pé ǹjẹ́ àjọ yìí lè ṣe déédé pẹ̀lú bí ètò ìdìbò gbogbo ọdún 2027 ṣe ń súnmọ́lé. awuyewuye yìí ló wáyé lẹ́yìn ìwádìí tí wọ́n ṣe pé òun ló ní ojú òpó X tí wọ́n ti ń gbé ìròyìn tó kù díẹ̀ káàtó jáde lásìkò ètò ìdìbò gbogbo ọdún 2023. láti ìgbà yìí ni àwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú, àwọn àjọ tó ń jà fẹ́tọ̀ ọmọnìyàn tó fi mọ́ àwọn ọmọ ilẹ̀ yìí kan tọ́rọ̀ kàn ti ń kọ̀mí lórí pé ǹjẹ́ àjọ elétò ìdìbò yóò kó àkóyawọ́ nínú ètò ìdìbò tó ń bọ̀ lọ́nà. ẹgbẹ́ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ nílẹ̀ yìí náà ti bẹnu àtẹ́lu ìkọlù àwọn ọmọ ogun ojú òfurufú èyí tí wọ́n ṣe sí ọjà tó máa ń kún fún àwọn èrò lójú ọ̀nà tó pààlà ní ẹnu bodè Borno sí Yobe tí ọ̀pọ̀ aráàlú sì pàdánù ẹ̀mí wọn. àtìjáde tí ẹgbẹ́ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà fi síta ṣe àpèjúwe ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí bí èyí tó bani lọ́kàn jẹ́ tá a sì lè dènà àti èyí tí wọn ò lè yànnà akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ lórí ẹ̀. wọ́n fi ẹ̀sùn kàn pé lásìkò ìkọlù náà wọ́n ṣèèṣì kọlù àwọn òǹtajà tó wà ní ọjà Jílì níbi ọjà ọlọ́sẹ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ tó máa ń kún fún àwọn èrò lòdì sí àwọn agbésùmọ̀mí tí wọ́n fojú sùn. àtẹ̀jáde tí akọ̀wé ẹgbẹ́ NAN Zachary Hashim fọwọ́ sí kó rojú sí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí èyí tó ṣe àpèjúwe bí èyí tí wọ́n kùnà láti ṣe iṣẹ́ ìfimúfínlẹ̀ wọn bó ṣe yẹ lórí ẹ̀. Ó wá láago ìkìlọ̀ pé irúfẹ́ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí ló mú kí àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè máa kọminú lórí bó ààbò tó péye ṣe wà fún àwọn ọmọ ilẹ̀ yìí, nígbà tí ẹgbẹ́ NANS mú irú iṣẹ́ takuntakun tí àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè àwọn ọmọ ológun ń ṣe láti dáàbò bo àwọn ọmọ ilẹ̀ yìí. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n tún ké sí àwọn ọmọ ológun láti máa gbé ìgbésẹ̀ tó yẹ nípa dídènà irúfẹ́ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí lọ́jọ́ iwájú. Èyí ló pin ìròyìn ní ṣókí wa fún ti òní. Ẹ kú kalẹ̀.
Oluyole FM. Onjalala. Onjato oroto. Oluyole FM. Òkìlẹ̀ létí. Oluyole FM ó báradọ́gba kiri sìn bí ọmọ àwélé ó jẹ́ gàràgà ní fara olùkọ́ni tètò tó ń retí ròyìn ní yọ̀gbà ajídára bí ìṣù ẹ̀lú fi ká fábẹ́lá tẹ̀. 98.5 FM ìkòkò ọbẹ̀ fún gbogbo ẹlẹgbẹ́ tó kù máa gbọ́rọ̀ lọ.
Don't park your car just anywhere.
Look around. Is no sign there?
If there's one that says no parking,
Move further down before you stop.
it's no joke, and we're not laughing.
Oluyole. Oluyole. Oluyole.
Oluyole.
Oluyole 98.5 FM.
It's the fiesta. It's the fiesta. It's the fiesta. It's the fiesta. Chit chat and inspiration for the morning. Regular heads up on global observances. Thorough and insightful analysis from experts and professionals. You don't have to look any further, cause Breakfast Fiesta serves you all you need. We make your day come alive.
Yes, so welcome back to Breakfast Fiesta on Oluyole 98.5 FM, where our focus has been on
Maternal health.
maternal health. That is the health of a woman during pregnancy, childbirth, and postnatal period. And we still have our guest, Dr. Damilola Akinlolu here. She's from the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, University College Hospital, Ibadan. She has talked extensively about maternal health, some of the factors responsible for maternal mortality, and things we need to guide against as a people. So, before we went on that break, Dr. Akinlolu, you said that hypertension in pregnancy or hypertension during that period is one of the leading causes of maternal mortality.
Currently.
Yes. And I asked while we were on the break whether it had always been like that. You said no. So why this sudden spike in hypertension or high blood pressure related complications in pregnancy?
All right, so we discovered that these days we are having an increase in the number of patients coming down with hypertensive disorders in pregnancy. And what we found to be the cause of that increase now is that, one, there has been changes in our lifestyle unlike before. What do I mean by this? One, our diet has changed. We now do more of westernized diet, which is compared to what we used to eat before. So diets these days are more of salt, sugar. All those fast food joints, they do more of salt, they do more of sugar, it's more of taste. That wasn't what we used to have before. So our diet has changed. People now do more of junks. Then our activity level has reduced. Most people now do jobs that make them sit for long. Sedentary lifestyle. We don't exercise like before. You know, our older mothers in the olden days, it's farming. They wake up, even despite being pregnant, they still go to farm, they exercise, which are activities that were helpful for them. That's why they can deliver at home without much complications then. But we can't do that again because things have changed. we now do more sedentary lifestyle, and there's a new saying now that sitting is the new smoking. Like if you are not smoking literally, if you sit for long, it is just it's equivalent to smoking. So you can imagine that, and smoking is implicated in all of these diseases that we are talking about. So it is all those lifestyle changes that has kind of make us get more cases of hypertensive disorders of pregnancy.
So let's talk about solutions. What can we do? Personal, not in terms of everybody. Personally, as a pregnancy with, what can we do?
Okay, so the first thing is about knowledge. At least listening to us, hearing about this now is one important step to helping yourself. Now you know about these things, you know what's caused them, then you start working towards them. Okay, so we talked about exercise. 30 minutes walk daily for a pregnant woman is good, very helpful, very healthy for her and her baby. So exercise, light exercise, we encourage that. Then diet should be more of vegetables and fruits, which is what is kind of lacking in most homes. Our diet is mainly carbohydrate based, mainly fat based. We do less of fruit, so we should eat more of fruits, vegetables, then little of the carbs, then more of proteins. You know, I know they don't know the science behind those things, but that is what they preach there, and it's good. It's helped. So that is also a point of call to our pregnant women. You eat more of those proteins, the vegetables, fruits. They are helpful. The another thing is getting yourself checked, registering for antenatal, and that's early. No, she said no. At a primary center, she said no. So where have you been? I'm just at home because I'm fine, I'm not sick. So that is another misconception. She believed antenatal clinic is for sick pregnant women, which is not true. It is for any woman that is pregnant, so that we'll monitor you throughout your pregnancy. We'll be able to find out problems early and tackle them early before things degenerate. And if you don't have any problem throughout pregnancy, that is what we want. That is what the antenatal clinic should be for. So pregnant women should register early from 12 weeks. Whether you are a veteran, maybe you've delivered several times, because some women do that again. They're like, we are used to it now.
Experienced.
Yes, we are experienced. So they will just come towards their delivery, maybe like 34, 36 weeks. That's when they will come out. No, not two pregnancy is the same. We used to say that to our patient. No two pregnancy is the same. Outcome is always different. And the fact that it's being the same for you does not mean that this current one that you are carrying cannot have any complications. So pregnant women should try to register early in the first trimester, usually by 12 weeks.
So it's 12 weeks standard?
Yes, 12 weeks. That's what we encourage, because the pregnancy is still early. Then if there's any problem that wants to affect the baby, you would have at least passed that. Like all the early abortions, those ones will happen around 6, 7, 8 weeks. So if you are carrying a pregnancy and you are 12 weeks, it is likely that pregnancy will survive, except there are other problems that will help you to find out. But to avoid all these spontaneous miscarriages, or maybe we are not sure of the viability of the baby, that's why we used to encourage by 12 weeks now. Before we used to say 8 weeks. 8 weeks. But for focused antenatal, by 12 weeks, you should come and register. 8 to 12 weeks, you would have passed the early pregnancy problems, spontaneous abortion. If the baby is not fully formed and the body wants to expel it, the body would have done that around before that 8 weeks time. So optimally, by 12 weeks, you should have registered your pregnancy. Then come to your antenatal clinic. Don't take those things you do at antenatal for granted, because at every antenatal visit they check their urine. That urine they are checking for is because of that disease we are talking about, preeclampsia. There will be protein in the urine. Then they also use that urine to check for sugar in the urine. Then if there's urinary tract infections, which we will also see in their urine, then we check their packed cell volume. You know, I said bleeding is a big deal in pregnancy. Bleeding is one of the leading causes of maternal mortality. So a woman should be optimized. The blood level should be normal. throughout pregnancy, because of course at delivery you will lose some amount of blood, but it should not be so much that will not affect you, that will not have hemodynamic, not make instability. So antenatal will help us to optimize your blood level throughout pregnancy and above. So those are the things we do at antenatal. Another thing is that they check their blood pressure at antenatal. Another thing is that they check their blood pressure every visit. It's an acute thing. You may be normal all through pregnancy, and it will be at the point of delivery that the woman will just convulse, and that will be the end. So it doesn't mean that you have a good antenatal visit. Does not mean you will not, some problems may not come up during labor, but that is why your doctors are there to monitor things throughout. So don't take any period for granted. The another important thing that we do at antenatal is that social thing where they dance, that dancing is a form of exercise. That's dancing, laughing with people is a form of social connection which helps your psychology. As a pregnant woman, pregnancy is stressful. You know, for some women, they may even have other problems, maybe their jobs, their husbands and all. But when you come to the midst of other women, you laugh together, you gist together. Some complaints that you have in your pregnancy, when you share it with another, you will now realize that, oh, this is how pregnancy normally is. It's not that this problem is exclusive to me. Do you get it? So that social connection too is important, and we encourage it, because pregnancy, it involves your psychology too. There's what we call postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis. Those things don't just happen overnight. They are things that happen gradually. But antenatal care helps us to take care of all of this, so it is important. Thank you.
Okay, for places where access to proper healthcare facilities is difficult, most pregnant women will turn to traditional birth attendants, and maybe to churches or mosque or prayer places meant for pregnant women, just like you said earlier. Is there any way that this set of people, category of people, like the traditional birth attendants and those who work in mission hospitals, is there a way they can be trained in such a way that they can properly handle
of today? We can do without them. Our healthcare system is not that strengthened to take care of all of our people. So we still depend on these traditional birth attendants. And yes, we do trainings for them. I'm aware. I've been in one of the training before, that we bring the babies together. Then we let them know the danger signs. There's a paper we use to monitor labor in primary health centers. Most primary health centers have it. We call it pathograph. They will be indicating the progress of labor, and once it reaches a certain level, there's a red line that's been drawn. They know that's the alert line and the action line. Once it's crossed that alert line, that patient must be referred to a tertiary center. So for traditional birth attendants too, we do that training, and we hope that more of such should be done, so that they will know the danger signs. I remember a day I was in the gynae emergency. There is this woman that used to bring bad cases to us, like eclampsia. All the patients would have convulsed in her place. She would now rush them. She's an baby. I had to call the attention of the nurses, the matron at the gynae emergency, to that woman that did that. I've seen this woman severally. This is her third patient she's bringing to us. So is there a way we can talk to her, so that she will know how to pick these things? She can be checking their blood pressure, do urinalysis for them. If they have that problem, send them to UCH. You don't have to take such cases. And you know, the nurses did that. They called her, they talked to her. In fact, they offered that they can be doing the urinalysis in our center, that they'll just pay little. In fact, the first time she brought 15 patients.
Wow.
Yes, and out of those 15, almost like half of them had 3 pluses of proteinuria already, meaning they are just danger waiting to happen. So that can be done too. We normally do that, but we can. I'm also encouraging hospitals, private hospitals can partner with those people to tell them danger signs. Okay, once a woman's PCV is this, send the patient to us. Once a woman does this, once a woman is showing this sign, refer them to us, don't keep them. And I'm sure if we do that, things will get better in the society. Then I'm also encouraging our religious houses too. So some churches, some must have hospitals that they have doctors that work there. For those that don't have, encourage your people, those that are on mission delivery homes. Once some danger signs have seen, please refer those patients to the hospital so that they can get better health care. Thank you.
All right, so quickly, what's the place of spousal support in maternal health? I'm asking because some men will insist that a woman is keeps giving birth to girls, and it keeps insisting on more children, even when she keeps having girls. And some will say boys, although those are few, but they will insist on a particular sex, and they are not supportive of a woman through her pregnancy. So what's the place of a man in the life of his pregnant wife?
Okay, so that is a very important question as well. Our men should realize that babies are not formed by women alone. It takes two to tango. The baby the woman is carrying is a result of the two of them coming together. So it is very important that men support their women during pregnancy. There are some men that follows their wife to antenatal clinic, which is laudable. It's a good thing. You should hear these things. There are some patients you'll be talking to that it's even their husbands that will be answering all the question. When was your last menstrual period? It's the husband that will answer. When was the last period? It's the husband that will answer. So you even know this woman's body more than that is how it should be actually. Because just like I said earlier, pregnancy is a stressful state. So we need all the support we can get for our pregnant mothers. And it also spans through helping them at home with things, keeping their minds at peace, keeping them peaceful, because that's also one problem you see. Some women were not hypertensive before, but because of the stress at home from their husbands, they just develop those things overnight. And also for contraception, which is what you asked me about, delivering several children. For contraception advice, we always advise that mothers should come with their husbands, because you can't take this decision alone. A woman cannot be giving birth every time. Each pregnancy drains you. That is the truth. It drains you. You are forming a body, you are nurturing another body, so it takes from you. So a woman needs to fully recover before she attempts another one. And for us, if a woman delivers 34 children, for us is okay. I mean gynecologists, because some problems come after 5 children. We call those grand multiparas. Once you've had 5 babies, we will tag you a grand multipara, and it comes with its attendant problems too. So please, our husbands, we are encouraging you, help our pregnant women. A woman should not be giving birth every time. There is no reward for it, and it saddens our hearts each time we lose a woman to pregnancy. No woman should die giving birth. No woman should die giving birth. So we're encouraging everybody, men, women, everybody, please, let's be serious with the life of our pregnant women. These are people carrying the life that will sustain our generation. After 4 children, 5 at most, that is enough. In fact, you see that in the midst of the allied group now, it's like 2 children is like the norm.
2, 3.
It's because we've seen enough. We've seen several pregnancies gone wrong, and you will not want someone close to you to experience that. So please, our men should give our women all the support they need.
But Dr. Akilele, you said if a woman is applying for contraceptives or family planning, she should attend or be there with her husband. What if the man refuses?
Yes, we have cases like that. The ethical thing for us as doctors is that we request that you discuss with your husband, or you even come together. In fact, for women that undergo bilateral tubal ligation at CS, we always give them the form from antenatal clinic, so they will take it home. with their husband. So it won't be as say, it's the doctors that coerced me to do it. You would have agreed that, okay, we are tying my tubes.
But what if it's not?
So what in cases where men does not agree, a woman has autonomy to her body. She's the owner of that body. You don't need a man to sign for anything. That is the truth. But we only encourage that because it helps with adherence, especially for those that are taking things that they need to be remembering, maybe taking pills, taking injection. If your husband is in support, it helps you to adhere better.